Happy Halloween, everybody. I'm the Charbox Gamer, and welcome back to Vampyr. As I hopefully said in the last video, I don't remember I mentioned it, but in the last video I mentioned that this is going to be the last video for Vampyr for the year, and we might come back to it next year, or I might drop it, I might come back to it. It all depends, really. I've had a hard time getting through it. But I feel like if I'm not saying the game is bad, it's just I just can't get into it with the recording and the commentary, so it's more of a me issue. You know, for a game, typically when I pick the hardest difficulty, usually I get used to it relatively quick. Like Prey, I got used to it pretty quickly, at least, you know, enough to get through a majority of it. This game, the difficulty has been, I wouldn't say it was the most brutal I've been, but it's a nice change of pace where it's actually kind of difficult. So I have to give it some points on it delivering with the difficulty. However, I've been talking over much of the plot points, and I don't know what's going on exactly, and I'm gonna keep that up to this video. So yeah, continuing with the horror monster discussion. There were a couple that I avoided purposely. So, in the Vampyr series, this is the 13th video. I waited till this video to talk about Jason Voorhees and also Freddy Krueger because I felt like they kind of go hand in hand together. But since this is the 13th, I think I'm going to save Jason Voorhees for last. And you know what? I think I might just start with Freddy Krueger because I've been withholding on him ever since we started. At least I believe so. I don't think I brought him up. I distinctly remember wanting to bring him up with Jason, and I know that I wanted to save Jason for this video, so I assume I didn't bring him up. It's been, I mean, when I first started recording, it's been like a couple days, so I don't remember who I actually brought up, but hey, I'm pretty sure I'm accurate that Freddy Krueger has not been brought up before. So starting with horror survival. With Freddy Krueger, this might be a little difficult considering that he attacked us in our dream. I always wondered, why don't we just weaponize our dreams? Like, why don't they, like, I get that they're afraid, but once you figured out that, hey, you're in your dreams, why never weaponize your dreams? I think that was, like, the plot of one of them. Dream Warriors? Maybe? I don't remember. That's a common thing here. I don't remember that movie. It's been a while.
Blackmail?
That also brings me another question, like, how are we going to defeat him?
Thank you for your time.
We can't outrun this fucker. Okay? We can't outrun him. He literally haunts us in our dreams. We're eventually gotta have to fall asleep. I mean, unless we take some sort of pills that suppress dreams, but I don't think the people in the movie that did that, I don't think they do too well. I'd rather not live like they live. So, how are we gonna deal with them? I think this might be one that we absolutely have to fight because we're not safe anywhere. I'm glad that I did implement that, hey, we at least get one encounter so we are aware of this guy, but I guess that's also kind of difficult because he's always haunting our dreams. Like, throughout the movie series, there are several ways that you could kill him, but I mean, we could look, if we could try each one and survive, I'd go with that option. I mean, how many ways did they kill him in the movies? Okay, first one, I think the main character just said, I'm not afraid of you. That's probably not gonna work. Second, I remember there was holy water, something to do with his bones. Fire, maybe? I don't remember the ways he died. I remember the way he died in Freddy vs. Jason, which is bringing him into the real world so he could actually physically die, but there's some problems with that option, too. Like, okay, say we managed to get him into the real world. We still have to deal with his ass in the real world. So that option, it's kind of like, okay, you're on fire and you put yourself out, but now you're still in the middle of the burning room.
Dr. Reed, are you trying to take advantage of me?
Of course,
No.
Mrs. Goswick.
Yeah, I mean, if we tried to do it once and we failed, he's not going to let us do that shit again. We could always weaponize ourselves in the dreams. That could work momentarily. I get the feeling that if we try to kill him or get rid of him in the dream, he'd probably just lay low until our guard is down and strike us when we least expect it. Like, that's just a feeling I have for this scenario. And that also depends on where we are in this movie's universe. Are we in the, like, are we in a town that, hey, knows of the myth and everybody's still haunted by the memory? Or are we in the town where they're trying to keep it all quiet? You know, hush hush. Because if that's the case, then this is going to change how powerful he really is.
I won't report you to the authorities.
So we'll branch this off in option A and option B. We'll start with option A. We're in a town that still remembers the memory of Freddy Krueger. In that case, I say we're kind of screwed because he's more powerful. Now, the first encounter with him, we survived. We had a nightmare. We woke up. We probably just thought it was a nightmare and probably ignored it. But I say maybe the second or third time. Like, at this point, he's going to be toying with us. It'll be like a cat and mouse game. He's going to be fucking with us until he gets bored. Or until we become a problem. One or the other. So, with that being said, I say maybe after like a couple bad dreams, we start looking like... I don't have recurring dreams. Personally, I don't have recurring dreams, so that would prompt me into looking up the meaning of this dream. If we're in the current year, then that would probably prop up like an article about Freddy Krueger, his life, like just through the description or something like that, something that gives me a hint on what's going on. If I bring it up with somebody in the town, they might know what's going on, but I don't know if they'll tell me. If they do, then I'm aware of the situation and now I'm more prepared to deal with them.
For what he may or may not have done.
I think in Freddy vs. Jason, people took these like dream suppressing pills, but I also remember them not being in the best condition. I think they were in an asylum or something, so I want to avoid that altogether. Granted, with that, we technically are surviving, so yeah, but man, I don't want that. Like, I really wouldn't want to be surviving in that condition. I rather not, you know?
For how
So,
long have you been working here, Nurse Crane?
we have a couple options to kill him. And we could, you know, just keep dreaming about fire and watching him burn.
Before you arrived here.
Like, we can do that. I mean, at one point we realized, hey, wait, we're dreaming. I don't have to be afraid of you. I'm in my fucking dream. Fuck off, fucker.
Confidence in your abilities. Are you in charge of the nursing
Th-
staff?
Like, that's what brings up a good point. If you're not afraid of him during the dream, does that mean, like, you could just simply overpower him? I would say no. Probably not. Probably not. I think he would also play into that. Like, I think he'll just pretend to be, you know, the victim, and again, strike us when we least expect it. And the next time he strikes us, to actually be the killing blow for us.
How is the duty roster?
So, yeah.
Everybody works until they can't.
But with option A, Freddy, I think he'd be more cocky. I think he'd be a little too cocky for his own good, and I think that gives us the winning edge in this. Like, he probably doesn't expect us to try to fight. Probably doesn't expect us to try to kill him.
Folk don't know how bad it is.
So, I think we might have a better chance with option A compared to option B. So, for option A, though as low as it is, I'd say maybe a 4. Let's give it a 4. I feel like some confidence in this. Like, there's a lot of variables to consider, but I think I think we have a fighting shot. You know? I think we have a little fight that get us out of here. Now for option B, Freddy Krueger, he's very powerless. Like, even if he pops up in your dream, he can't physically kill you. So that means he's desperate. I don't think he'll try to kill us outright. I think he'll manipulate us into revealing his story. So that way he's more feared. So that he could get more power. However, unfortunately for him, there's no psychotic murderer to help him. So it'll be up to us to prevent him from... I was about to say, it'll be up to us to start spreading the word like it was like fucking Smile Dog or some shit. So I think with option B,
someone blackmailing people
I think
in the
he'd be
hospital?
more
Possibly,
devious.
sir, but I have
But
no
he
idea
won't
what you're
be...
talking about.
I don't think he straight up kill us. I think he tried to mind warp us a bit. But
Please show me what you have to
that
say.
also means
Of
we're
course.
also
It's
at
just
a
trinkets and
disadvantage here.
curios, really.
See, with option A,
But
we
I'm
have the
sure they
benefit of
can be
either
useful.
A, looking it up on the computer and finding an article about him, or B, sending it to somebody in town and most hopefully getting a response out of them and some information. But with option B, there's not going to be anything popping up on the computer, and nobody is going to be willing to talk about it at all. I mean, that might be a benefit for us. Maybe we just think he's just a harmless dream and ignore him, and that's how we win. But like I said, he could be desperate. He could be, keep hitting us with nightmare after nightmare. He doesn't have to kill us, but that doesn't mean we're mentally or psychologically safe. He could just keep messing us with that until, it wears us down. Option B sounds a whole lot scarier now that I think about it. With that, how can we defeat him, though? I think option B, we could probably get a better chance at bringing him in the real world because he get too confident with us, fearing him that he won't expect us to try to grapple him. And if we wake up at that moment, he's there. So, yeah, that could work. Could being the operative word. I mean, there's a chance it can't, but it might work. But we still have to deal with him being in the real world, and he still has those flaws. Granted, I don't think he would have any world warping ability because, real life.
Miss, please, I feel
I'd say he takes a lot of hits. I mean, using Jason Voorhees as like a example, he could take a hit from Jason. I'm pretty sure he could take a hit from us.
Have you heard of any underhand dealings going on in the hospital?
Blackmail.
Okay, so say that we do bring him in the real world. We just woke up. He's in our world. I'm pretty sure at this point he's gonna want to try to fucking kill us. The positive side on this, though, is we're in our own room. Assumingly. Like, I assume that you be in your own room or someplace you're familiar with. I would. So I know where all my shit is I could use to defend myself with. And I have a better chance at defeating it. I mean, now he could take real damage. Now he could take real fucking damage. That means if I were to say, tase him, he's gonna feel that shit. Of course, I would have to do that without getting clawed to death. I think a ranged weapon would be most beneficial here. But that would mean I have to get to the weapon, get it out of the safety thing, and that takes time. That takes some time. So I might not have time. I'm saying that'll kind of screw me over if I don't get a big enough head start, or if I don't hinder him a bit before I go for it,
I could give it to his mother, but doing so...
I mean, there's also the chance that just because we beat him now doesn't mean he won't be back in the sequel and, fucking kill us. That's always, a thing to always consider, okay, yeah, we beat him once. He'll be back for more. He'll probably be successful. But we're talking about here. We're not talking about the sequel. The sequel would be future us his problem, not present us. And then, in the sequel version of us could look back and say, I fucking hate past me.
It's locked, all right.
So for option B, Freddy, what would you rate? I'm thinking he's probably like, it's gonna take a lot for us to win this. Like, I know I just described what we can do, and, you know, even the possibility that even if we win, we're not gonna be safe forever. So I'd say I give him a 3-1 below A, just cause I feel like there's a lot of variables that could go wrong during an encounter with him. Like, yeah, it's like there's a lot of things that could. I mean, either or. There is a lot of shit that can go wrong, and we could easily die. I mean, if you want to, we could take the 3 and the 4, and we could combine it together, and we could say at 7 out of 10, we have a better shot. Before we move on to Jason, what was your favorite Freddy Krueger movie or Nightmare on Elm Street movie? Would this include the crossover? You know, with what I've been referencing throughout this video, Freddy vs. Jason. I want to say yes, because it's technically, you know, it's a crossover. I think it should count. But another part of me wants to say I kind of want to just focus with the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise rather than a crossover. But if it is your favorite, we're on the same boat. It's my favorite too. However, if I were to pick one movie from them, I have to say, ooh, which one? I have to say, I'd say Dream Warriors. I would say, yeah, Dream Warriors is probably my favorite one. I don't remember much of 2. I'm not saying that I don't like 2, it's just I don't remember much of 2. I don't think I've seen the 4th one. I think there was another, like, Final Nightmare. And there was, like, another Demonic Nightmare. I don't think I've seen Demonic Nightmare now.
Mr. Goswick.
Then there was the reboot. I
have retrieved your
will
letter, Mr. Goswick.
be honest, I do not care for reboot movies too much. Granted, I did think they did pretty well. It's just I did not like how Freddy looked. He
I think you should talk
looked,
to your mother.
he looked kind of like an alien to me. That's all I'm gonna say. Like, if I remember, I think that's what I remember thinking when I was first watching it. And then again, I was kind of young and even more stupid than I am now. So, yeah, take that with a grain of salt. I just didn't like the design of Freddy Krueger.
I've read your letter, Mortimer.
With that being said,
You wrote about
I
an
think we can move on to
unbearable
Jason Voorhees
despair
now. The thing is,
while the world
this is also
crumbles
kind of
around
difficult
you.
because we
Tell me more
kind of have a
about
few
it.
scenarios here. Option A, he's very much alive and trying to kill us.
And I don't ask anyone
Option
to
B,
understand what I
he was once dead, but now he came back and he's ready to kill us. And option C, it's a
World
copycat
is bleak.
who's trying to kill
Maybe
us.
The pain we feel is the best
You know, I think
compass
option
for
C and
making a
option
better
A
place.
kind of go together now that I think about it. Like, they still kind of function the same. Do you think?
Problem.
It's just, you know, with Freddy Krueger, we just had like option A, option B. I don't really want to differentiate too much. So we'll just say, yeah, option A, it's a live person. Option B, it's like a possessed zombie looking to kill us. I don't know what the hell is he. Like, is he a ghost? Is he a zombie? What the hell? Anyway, remember when I made the rule that we have no knowledge of any movies? This was the reason why. This was the main reason behind it. Because if you ask me to go to Camp Crystal Lake or Camp Blood, with my knowledge of the movies, my instinct would tell you to go fuck yourself. I'm not going. I mean, there's also other reasons too, but this was the main reason. This was my main reason for implementing the rule, was because I know damn well that I would not go to the location because I know that, okay, say it's option A, there's a serial killer running around. I'm staying home. The motherfucker's not gonna know that I'm there, so he has no way of knowing of my existence. If I did option B and it's a angry spirit, well, I'm not going there because it's only killing people on the camp, not outside the camp. So that's the implement of that rule. So, I say start with option A. It's a live person. Could be his mom. Could be him. Could be a copycat. Doesn't matter. This person is very much human.
It's locked.
Well, that could be questionable with all the hits that this motherfucker could take. That's also, like, you understand, like, this guy is a tank, both in physical offense and defense. Like, he could take a hit, he could dish a hit. I don't think fighting should be an option. I don't think fighting should be an option. If we get hit, like, we could die easily. I mean, even if he doesn't have supernatural strength, mind you, his one weapon of choice is a fucking machete. Granted, throughout the series, he uses a variety of weapons, but let's stick with his iconic machete. If we miss taking a swipe at him, and he brings it down on us, game over. Straight up game over. But, on the bright side,
Good evening, Mr. Goswick.
we have the option to run. We have the option to run. I'm pretty sure if we
I can assure you
get
that
out of,
nobody read
like,
it
if we get the hell out of the area real quick,
This is for you then,
we might,
for your help.
just might be able to,
I think
you know,
should talk
avoid them
about that.
altogether. But
It
mind
would be
you,
good.
rule 3 was that the
Thank you.
people around you are going to be friends and family. That's also another reason why I added it, so you
Now,
just can't
please.
say, I'm running, fuck off.
Let me be.
It gives you, like, some reason to consider on staying and trying to get the people you love to get out of the location. But I can see if I did that I'm definitely going to die trying to protect someone I care about. So,
Tell me more about it.
fuck me, I
There's
guess.
nothing more to say, really.
The only
It's her fault.
benefit that I
It's
can really think
unbearable,
about option
and I didn't
A
ask anyone to understand
is that they're human. Meaning
Despair
that they
is the
can feel
deadly thing
pain.
I've tasted
Granted,
myself.
like I said, they are pretty tanky, they're
We're
pretty
only
durable, they have a
because
high
we're
defense,
terrified by the uncertainty of
But-
the next minute.
I know that
they're
perfectly, Doctor.
limited
I waited
to
for so
human
long,
needs,
hoping
is
that the
what I'm
next
trying to
bit
get
would
at.
be
Like,
less
you know, they're
unbearable.
gonna need to rest up eventually. If they get hurt too much, they're gonna need to back off. I don't, like, I feel like if we were to attempt
Do you
to
need
kill
any-
one,
Thank you, Dr. Reed, but
it's gonna do that fake out shit in, you know, horror movies where you, oh, yeah, I got him, you look
I
away,
have
you
to
look
go
back,
now,
they're
sir.
gone. Like, it's gonna
But
probably
don't
go down like
hesitate to
that.
Contact me if you need any help.
But the point is, it buys us some time to
Don't waste your time
leave
with me.
Good evening.
and leave with whoever's
How's Nathan
around
doing?
with us. That'd be option A. I still feel like the most realistic like outcome would be me trying to save somebody I love and getting killed in the process. So I say with option A, I feel maybe a 4. A 4 because there's like people I'm trying to keep alive. If they were all strangers and I didn't have to give a fuck about them, I say boost my odds to maybe a 5 because 50-50 shot of me getting out of there unscathed. Like, you know, like, probably the psychopath mass murderer is busy like tearing somebody else up instead of me. Like, I would have a shot if I'm surrounded by a pack of assholes.
Why did your son
Pack of people that I
feel so
care about.
useless when facing
Yeah, they're
the
still
world?
assholes, but they're my assholes. I love them. So I'm not gonna turn away and let them die. So I get the feeling that a lot of them won't say the same. Like, they'll be like, nice knowing you, Anthony. See you in the afterlife. And I'll be like, yeah, fuck you
I
too.
have read your son's suicide note.
Now we can go on
It
to
was not
option
an
B
impulsive
where
gesture,
this
nor
fucker's a
was it
spirit.
his first attempt.
Ghost.
He threatened to kill himself a few
Zombie?
times before.
Whatever, he's paranormal. He's back from the dead and he's fucking pissed.
Punish you?
I
Why?
I've known for a
still
long
don't
time
think getting
he's
into
not
a
happy
physical
with
fight
his
with this
life,
fucker
but I always hoped
would
he cared enough
be
to avoid making
beneficial,
himself
especially now
miserable.
that he could probably not feel pain. Then again, who knows? Maybe he
Your
does.
son could try to kill
The
himself
point is,
again.
you're gonna need a
He
lot of
must succeed
firepower
next time.
to take him
I
down
think
now.
every minute. I
But on
won't
the bright
stop
side,
fighting
I
for my
think he's
son's
just
future.
restricted to
That's how
the
much I love
fucking
him.
camp type. That's my thing. I think that Ghost Him is restricted to
You're right.
solely the
Your
campsite. So
son's
if
death
we,
was not fatal. And
you know,
unlike many of
leave,
our own, he is lucky
the
to
chances
have
are he
you
won't
by
be
his
after
side.
us.
I can't give up. on
Granted,
him.
that's the
I
tricky
just
part. You
can't.
want to be
I
able
have
to
been
escape.
sick
You
many times in my
might
life.
have a
Giving
little
up on
more
my
issue
son
with
is
that
something
because
I am
I
incapable
think
of.
ghosts or undead Jason could like teleport around. I mean, in the movies he seems like he can, and I damn well know in the game he can. So it's safe to say he has
Good
some
evening, Mr.
sort of
Goswick. How are you?
I'm okay.
built-in fast travel system.
Your mother won't
I mean, I don't even think I mentioned his stealth ability either. Like, he's a very, like, despite being a tank, despite being kind of a lanky kind of killer, he's kind of stealthy too, so that's also kind of giving us a middle finger, like,
I could.
kind of screwed on that part. Huh. I mean, for weaknesses, I was gonna say for human Jason, like, you know, he's vulnerable, but for ghost Jason, other than that, he can't really lead the campgrounds, which I'm not 100% sure is a fact. I'm just speculating. What would be his weakness? I mean,
I have to go now.
if you show him anybody that resembles his mother,
Contact me if you need any help.
that stuns him a bit. That, like, gets him to back off. But, like, one, good luck finding somebody that looks like his mother, and two, okay, say that you have to, like, movie knowledge, you're not gonna know where the hell she's buried, or, you know, where her shrine is, if you want to be more accurate. So, yeah. I mean, and Freddy vs. Jason, it's revealed that he's afraid of water, but has he really shown that fear at the camp? I think it was only for that one dream sequence. Like, I can't really remember, so yeah, like, if that's canon, if he's really afraid of water, then you might have some benefit from that, but that could also be a like, it might push him to go after you and kill you quicker, if you get what I mean.
Your words are kind, the
Like,
blessings of an angel. You're the sweet, sweet.
I don't see much weakness. I mean, I guess a lot of, we'll attack him with lots of violence.
It's a pleasure to see you again.
We could try burning him.
You seem surprised.
I think that will also piss him off and make him even more dangerous, so maybe not a good idea.
Appointment to Pembroke Hospital.
We could try trapping him momentarily and then fuck off. That could also
Before
work.
vanishing into thin air. I remember you from the pub with Dr. Swanson.
I mean, I think for both
Indeed.
options, we're going to avoid physically
Allow
fighting. I
me
think
to
we're just going to
introduce
plan on
myself
running away.
formally
So,
this time.
survival
My name
ranking.
is Lady
Survival
Ashbury.
ranking.
I remember
For
you
option
well,
B,
in spite of the brevity of
I
our
feel
encounter.
really optimistic, but at the same time, I feel like I really... Look, a part of me wants to say there's a 50-50 chance on escaping
Very happy to see you.
The
but
pleasure is mine,
the giant
Doctor.
fucker.
I
And we
hope
have to
you're
get
more
past him,
disposed to answer
which
my questions
it's
now.
probably not going to be an easy task.
You
He's
must
probably
have
going to keep us
countless
from
questions.
going through
But
any
another
exit.
urgent
And now that he
matter
has
has
super speed, he could
Swansea
somewhat
has
teleport.
explained
It's going to be even more
my
impossible.
Cover, if you
Say that we
prefer.
get lucky and we get into a
It's been
car. Well, he could just
compromised.
bash the car and say, no, fuck you. I think we could always call in somebody to come and
Dr.
help us, but
Swansea has commissioned
that's going
me
to take,
be
like,
your agent in this matter.
who knows how long. Maybe
You could start
15
by
minutes
explaining what's amiss.
if it's a cop. I mean, then again,
These
we're out on the
past insufferable
campsite. That's
weeks,
probably far away
I've
from
been
any
the victim
town or
of
city, so
extortion.
that'd probably be even longer. We'll probably have to
I've made
survive
the
for...
first payment, but the blackmailer
We'll probably have to
grew
survive for,
greedy.
like,
I must
at the minimum, an
refuse
hour.
most recent demands.
At the minimum, an hour. I mean, worst case scenario, probably be a couple hours.
Every detail is
And seeing as this is a horror movie, it's gonna probably be like maybe 2
My
hours
embarrassment in
at
this
the most.
matter is eclipsed only
But
by
bare
my
minimum,
shame,
at least 1
having
hour.
put the hospital at risk.
Can you imagine dodging this supernatural
The
fuck
threat
for
from
1
our
hour?
anonymous scoundrel is
Can
clear.
you?
A list of dates.
Look, if he doesn't get
My
me,
visits coinciding
my
with
own
the
heart
dates
rate
of
will.
suspicious patient deaths. Duty
so
passive
considering that what we
miracles.
have to deal with, we have somebody that we cannot beat.
I'll take care
No,
of it.
well, we can't beat
know
without
where I
a lot
can
of
start?
force. Someone who's
If that
very
was the
fast,
case,
very
I'd
strong, that
settle
could
the matter
kill us
myself.
instantly, most likely.
You could talk to our local
And someone that could
gossip,
teleport.
Harriet Jones. Not a pin drops here without her hearing
The
about
people around me are my
meet that
friends
woman
and
now.
fammy, and I'm gonna be trying
My
to
life,
protect their ass. I'm dead.
others
I'm dead.
know,
Fuck it.
is in your
I'm trying to
hands,
analyze it, and I thought, okay, you know what?
I'm sure
Maybe I
of
could
your
survive. But
discretion,
now that I think about it,
but I
friends
do
and family
fear
around
your
me.
powers of persuasion will be
No, I'm
put to the
fucking dead.
test.
Put it out of one. Put it out of one. I try
When it's
saving
resolved,
somebody, and I end up
I'll
getting
be your
like I get
obligé.
killed in the process.
I'll answer all
That's how it's
questions
gonna
in
happen.
regards of your
Again,
condition.
I mean, the only other thing that I could think of is psychologically manipulating him. Which, okay, if we don't have anything that resembles his mom, it's gonna have to remind him of his tortured past. Because, well, I think it was in the fourth movie when he was at that house, the little boy in the movie. I think he shaved his head and make him look kind of like kid Jason, and that stopped him from killing for a moment. So that's one option, but I don't think he's gonna feel much sympathy if I do that shit. Yeah, you know, like I think it's just gonna probably piss him off, if anything. But then again, that was from I believe that was when Jason was still human, still alive, not a ghost. I don't know if it'll still affect, option B where he's clearly dead but reanimated. But now that I think about it, option A and option B are just kind of there just to say how bad of a time we'll have. Like, if it's a living person, it'd probably be a little easier. With the dead person, it'd be a lot harder to run away from. I don't think it would change their mentality. I'd say that it'd probably have like some effect on him, regardless if he were option A or option B for us. So yeah, we could try that. But like I said, I don't think he would like it if it came from me. I think he'd be offended and kill me. But then again, you never know. So we have an option. We have an option with that. So let's see, what were the survival ratings again? For option A, with a living person hunting us down, I said we got like a 4 out of 10 shot, I believe. A 5 out of 10 shot if we're surrounded by strangers. So 4 out of 10. For option B, I think I caved in and said, we get a fucking 1. Again, because, friends and family are around. I don't want to see them die. I'd probably die in the process. Now, if we were around strangers, that is up to debate. I would probably say we're most likely higher, because I could say fuck off. I don't care. I'd say, look, we get one encounter where we get to live at least once, typically. So after the first death, I say I'm out of the fucking camp. I'd say I leave, but then that might make me a target. 2 out of 10?
What?
2 out of 10? Does that sound fair?
What is
Does that
this?
sound
Who are
kind of
you?
believable? Part of me wants to say
There's
3
no
out of
need
10.
for alarm, madam. I'm Dr.
But I
Reed.
get the feeling that
You
the
said-
second that I try to leave the camp, I'm just gonna get like murked instantly. So I say 2 out of 10 if I'm surrounded by strangers. 1 out of 10 if I'm surrounded by friends and family. So that's the 1, and that's a 4. And the combined effort's 50-50. Oh boy. But we're not combining efforts, so it's still gonna be the 1 out of 10 for us. And to wrap this up, I say we discuss our favorite Friday the 13th movie. I mean, I reference it throughout the whole video. Freddy vs. Jason is my favorite, but that, again, is a crossover. It can count, but I'm going to focus on specifically Friday the 13th rather than a crossover. So let's go with... There's several movies. I find as the series went on, it got a little more ridiculous. So it stopped being scary and more comical for me. Jason Takes Manhattan is like a prime example, because I remember there's one scene where he's in the middle, I think, of a bus, or just in the middle with a lot of people around him. He takes out his machete and nobody gives a fuck. And I thought that scene was pretty funny. But if I were to pick my favorite movie, I have to say, if I were to pick, I'd say that my favorite's probably Friday the 13th, the final chapter.
Dr. Swansea?
I think it's the fourth one. It's a fourth one with the little kid, like I mentioned earlier. I think that's the
Please,
movie I'm
calm
thinking
down,
of.
madam.
So
I
that'd
assure you
probably
that
be
I'm
my
highly
favorite.
qualified. I'm just back from war duty.
And of course, they had a reboot with the series.
Threatening an old defenseless woman. You know how long I've
You
been
want to
a
know
patient
what
here?
my
You've
little
picked the wrong
thing with the
fight.
reboot was?
I'm Harriet
So
Jones.
if I remember correctly, the big thing that I had against the movie was that they
I've been
had
meaning to
Jason
have a chat
running.
with you.
which
You know what goes on
past
here
me,
better
kid
than
me,
any other
or well, not
patient
kid
I've
me,
ever
more like teenager me at this point, said that it just takes away some of the suspense, which I have to admit
I
that
heard
has
there have been
some valid to it.
despicable
Like,
goings-on.
I feel like
Was there a case of
I was more critical
blackmail?
about that than anything, but there was some points to that. Like, yeah, it kind of makes it more of an actiony movie. So, pass me, I'll give you a pass on this sort of. And with that, I think we're done talking about both. I mean, I think
I
we
assure you, ma'am,
got
this is
them
not an
like I
investigation
tried
into a
to keep them
possible
both like
medical error.
at the same time, you know, like recording wise, like fair, equal, and I think I managed to do that. 17 minutes and 40 seconds. I think I got it. Hopefully, I did the time
Well,
right
if
on
you
my
have
head. I
your
hopefully I
efficient
added
proof,
it right on my head. But
I'll not have the
yeah,
staff behaving in such a manner
I
here.
think I did well with this whole horror movie. Just granted, I don't remember all the information. I think if I do this again, I would better prep myself and have a better list
Thank you for
other
your
than
time,
choosing
Mr.
random
Jones.
horror
You've given me
icons.
something to
So,
go on.
yeah, if we ever do this
See you on the
kind of
next
thing
round.
again, I'll be more prepped. Thank you for suffering through this. If anything else,
Miss
I
Jones,
would
greetings.
probably
How do we feel?
redo the rules just slightly because rule 1 makes sense. Rule 2, that kind of got broken, but not really because it was only stating, you know,
Now,
strengths and weaknesses
I need
that
to ask you
we
a
know
few
through the movies.
simple
It's just that
questions.
we never use that in the scenarios. At least I hope I didn't. The only time I could think of was with Scream,
If you
which,
could
like I
just
said,
tell
is a
me
parody of
why
itself.
you
So
were admitted.
that made some sense. I think there's another one, but I can't recall. With Rule 3, it kind of got brought up sometimes, but not as much. Like, I think it rarely got brought up, which I think I stated in the
Have you
description
noticed
for the
any
first
suspicious
discussion that,
comments or
hey, Rule
comments?
3 might not be too, like, talked about, so don't mind it. It's probably only for, like, situational moments, you know? So 3,
Everyone here
3 I
is
felt like
very
we could have
capable.
just
I have not
somewhat
seen
ignored,
any
but
instances of
at the same
unprofessionalism.
time, I think we could touch on that for the next time we do one of these. Anybody else have any rules that they want to add? Just like
Come now, Miss Jones.
anything that
Surely
crossed
it's
your
not
mind,
that
really.
bad.
Because, like I said before, any comments that you say, I'm probably not going to read until, like, the video is already posted and we're done discussing this. But hey, next year, if we do something like this again, I'll be more prepared. I'll implement
I'll
that
come and visit you
rule,
shortly.
and then we can
Good
work
night,
from
Miss
there.
Jones.
I think they were okay. I think they were okay. Like, not great, but I think they were,
Patients and
like,
staff
good
might
enough.
know something. I'll start my investigation with them.
I mean, I think a couple times I kind of discussed something that, well, rule number 1 didn't really have an effect, but yeah, I feel like some villains, like, you can talk to for a moment, but, you know, I kind of forgot the whole bloodlust thing, so that was my bad. I mean, the only villain I could think on top of my head was, like, Megan's entry. Like I say, we could have probably talked to her and say that we get a pass, but no, that's kind of violating rule number 1, out for blood. No, she would have wiped the floor with us, so that will be fixed in the next time we do this. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you next time. Take care. Please like and subscribe and have a happy and safe Halloween.